Welcome everyone to the final round of the 2014 GP4 Offline Championship. We're here in Brazil at the Interlagos circuit for the final round of the season, and I can't quite believe we're here. The final race of the season. I can't believe how quickly the season has gone. But anyway, we're here, so let's get on with it. Unfortunately, the title will not be decided here, unlike the graphic says. Obviously, 5 times it's been decided here, but unfortunately it will not be decided this time because it has already been won by Jamie Mackenzie back in the US Grand Prix. So we're here in Interlagos, 71 laps, circuit length of 4.3 kilometers, 15 corners. The lap record set all the way back in 2006 by Jack Boyman, 111.0. Good memories there. And yeah, so it's definitely one of my favourite circuits on the F1 calendar, and obviously the tweak from the real life one, as it is the final race unlike in real life. The tyres we'll be using will be the Super Soft, and the driver of the day was given to Will Nella for an impressive performance last time out. Anyway, so we now have a look at the final starting grid for the Brazilian Grand Prix, and on pole position, Robert Ionescu took his, I believe, his first and only pole position of the season, so well done to him. On pole position, second place is Roman Quag, third on the grid, Jay Mackenzie, with the Will Nella alongside him in fourth, third row of the grid, Waze Kuba and Nicolas Gal, fourth row, Joseph Willows and Michael Mocho, the fifth row of the grid, Amar Carr and Vincent Vedrina for McLaren. On the fifth row of the grid, we have Rick Yan and Alex Southgate in his final race, as he will be retiring at the end of the season. The seventh row of the grid, we have Franco Lopez and David Greenwood. Roberto Gamba 15th, followed by Kirosima De Rosa in 16th. 17th place, Cameron Anderson, his last race as well, as he will not be entering next year. Franco Gamba in 18th. 19th place, Florian Volker, a very disappointing qualifying from him. 20th, Robert Hunter. 21st, Julius Anderson. And 22nd, Oliver Glazebrook. So that is the grid for the final race of the season. And we will also look at the team news as well. The final team news, there were 5 seats up for grabs, and we're now going to have a look who's taken those 5 seats. So Will Nella is the big one. Is Will Nella is going to leave Williams to join Mercedes for 315. Oliver Glazebrook will leave Sauber to join McLaren. Bartis Kloss will be promoted from GP2 to join Haas. Etienne Jones will join Marussia from GP2. Matthias Terwit will join Marussia from GP2. Waze Kuba, Michael Mocho and Julius Anderson have been left without a drive, and Lucas Krebs has been banned from the OC for good due to problems that has happened in the chat during the races this season. So Michael Mocho probably will be a little bit hard done by, and I think Julius Anderson will probably be hard done by. Waze Kuba, I think he'll be a bit annoyed, but I think we can understand why. Unfortunately, he's not performed as well compared to his teammate, as obviously his teammate Mackenzie is the one who has won the title, so probably no surprises there. But anyway, that doesn't matter right now. What matters now is that we have a race to do, as the 5 lights are now on. And we're underway for the final race of the 2014 season. Who is going to get the jump into the first corner? Is Ionescu going to keep the lead from Quag in second place? It looks like he is, and indeed he does keep the lead as they come round. As there's Mercedes trying to get round the outside, now the inside of Quag, but he can't quite make it do it. But Ionescu's got a big gap already ahead of Quag in second place as they come through the centre races for the first time, coming down one of the back straights, and it's side by side between Williams and between Will Nella, and I think that is Jamie Mackenzie in front, as Kuba's trying to go around the outside of Nella, and he does make it stick. Great move there by the Congolese driver in his final race. We're looking at Mocho, Vedrina, Yan, Southgate, Greenwood, De Rosa, Gamba, Anderson. I can't keep up with all the names because they go through too quickly. As Ionescu leads, Quag in second, Mackenzie in third, Kuba in fourth, Nella fifth, Gal sixth, Willows in seventh, Mocho 8th, Carr 9th, and Vedrina completing the points in 10th position. As we look at the two Mercedes now right behind each other, Mackenzie in third, Kuba in fourth. This will be Kuba, obviously his last race. He ain't got a seat for next year. So they're coming down towards the end of the first lap. And so far I think actually everyone has managed to avoid any problems. But look at the fuel they've got. Look at the fuel that Mackenzie's got. 38 laps. So clearly they are going to go for the one stop here in Brazil. So we'll see if that works out or not as they're coming down the front straight. Ionescu sets the fastest lap. It's side by side between Joseph Willows and Nicolas Gal for P6, coming down into the centre S's for the second time, and Willows has the move done. As we're side by side between the two Lotus drivers of De Rosa and Greenwood, De Rosa makes the move stick, and so does Roberto Gamba. Passes the Lotus driver there as he comes around. 43 laps of fuel. Jeez, there's a lot of fuel that he's got in his car. There's a battle between Gal and I believe that is Michael Mocho. And there's a Williams off, and it's Will Nella who is out. And unfortunately, despite the news that he's got, he ain't going to be finishing this race. I think it was a Ferrari that was involved with him there, and he is out of the Grand Prix. And it was Joseph Willows. And what's happened here coming into turn 4, and oh, it's just unfortunate they collected each other there, and Willows has lost a chunk of his front wing, so he will have to pit. And unfortunately, I mean, I don't really know if you could blame anyone there. I think maybe they both kind of misjudged it. I suppose maybe Nella didn't realise that Nella didn't realise that Willows was on the inside of him, and he clipped his car there. You can see. I mean, I would say from that, I think Nella didn't realise that Willows was still there. He thought Willows would have backed off and waited, but it is an overtaking spot. But for Willows, he's going to have to go to the pits now. As we look at all the cars going through the traffic, Willows now goes to the left and now moves over. Although the Mauricio tries to go around the inside of him, that didn't work. Lopez has been very heavily held up there. And oh, there's an engine that's gone on a Lotus there, and that is De Rosa, who is going to retire from this race. The engine has gone on his car. As Franco Lopez drops all the way down to last after getting held up. Willows there, obviously didn't realise that he had a problem. He tried to get past him, but he held him up, and then look at all those cars that just breezed past him there. Didn't work out in his favour. And now drops all the way down to what's about to last, really. Yes, Anderson goes past him there. And looking at Robert Hunter going through the ZRSs, and actually there's the there's the car failure of oh my word, wow! And there was the car failure of De Rosa, and the wheel as he hit the wall. Hunter has come and collected it right in front of him there, and oh, look at that! Just unfortunate timing there as they come through. Looking at Oliver Glazebrook, trying to get past David Greenwood in the Lotus. And does he make it stick? The answer is no, he doesn't. Doesn't quite make it stick there. So he's going to have to wait. He can't overtake in the infield section of the track, so we've got a yellow flag out somewhere. Something has happened. And oh, it's Ionescu! Robert Ionescu is out of the race. The race leader is out. And he had a cut, and after leading. And oh, what has happened? And let's have a look. And oh, he just went wide. That is a really unusual place to go off. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone crash there before. That is really, really strange. He locked up and just went wide onto the grass and just couldn't stop as the car just slid into the wall as it just went across the grass. But yeah, as I said, that is weird. I'm pretty sure I've never seen a crash there in the OC before. But wow, that is really, really strange. So, goodness me. So, unfortunately, Ionescu, a golden chance. He's had a terrible second half of the season, and this was his golden chance to make up for that. And unfortunately, despite all the bad luck he's had in the second half, this is his own fault, and he unfortunately has cost himself a chance of victory today. And this is not one that he'll want to look back on. I mean, it's probably not a season he'll want to look back on. It's not been good. I mean, he won, obviously. I think ever since he won, was it in Germany? I think he won. Ever since his last race win, the season just gone completely downhill. As we're looking at a battle for P8, this is Roberto Gamba, who's made a good start to the race so far, battling with the McLaren of Southgate and with Oliver Glazebrook, is it? Oh no, it's Rick Yan, I think, actually in front. As Yan goes wide, coming into the centre S's, and Petrino's got the move done. Roberto Gamba's still stuck behind him, but he'll try and make a move coming into turn 4. And he's going to make a move on the inside. Yan doesn't really try and defend. I don't know if he's got a heavy fuel load or not, but regardless, Gamba's on the inside. Does he make the move stick? And yes, he does. He moves up into P9. Good start by the Italian. And now Rick Yan has got Cameron Anderson for company behind him. He doesn't quite, and he blocks well to make sure that he can't make the move. He comes through into the infield section. So we're looking at car in 7th. So at the moment, Quag leads, Cooper in 2nd, Mackenzie 3rd, Mocho is actually up to 4th. So Mocho has had an amazing start, as unfortunately Robert Hunter has had a problem, and he is sadly stuck in the pits. So I don't think he's going to be coming back out on track. That might not be good news though for Franco Gamba. So they might have to. It looks like probably both cars sadly are going to have to retire from this race, but Carl's got a light fueler. That's probably why he's doing as well as he is, and I imagine maybe probably Mucho's on the same type of strategy, as here's a battle between the two Saubers as Glazebrook gets past Rick Yan for P11. Yan, who's really struggling, although that's why he's got a very heavy fuel load. Now he's under pressure from Franco Gamba behind him, and there's Greenwood, there's Julius Anderson, and there's Willows trying to recover positions as well. And let's see where they try and make the move. Yan under pressure from Franco Gamba as Southgate goes a little bit wide, under pressure from Cameron Anderson there. There's Frank Gambit right behind Ricciani. He won't make a move into the final corner, but he'll make a move down the pit straight. One of the best chances for overtaking. As we're looking at Anderson behind Southgate, as they're coming onto the straight. I don't think he'll try and make a move, but surely Frank Gambit will make a move, and he's already on the inside, coming in towards the centre S's for the first time. Will he make the move stick? Side by side between the two, and does he make the move stick? Yes, he does. Yep, he makes it up into P12. As Anderson battling with David Green, with Florian Volker, I should say, actually. So was it? So actually, no, it wasn't Willows. For the whole time, I assumed it was Willows who had the incident, but it was actually Florian Volker. As Greenwood is now going to try and make a move back on Volker, coming into turn 4. Will he try and make it stick? I mean, he's on the he's really trying. Volker goes wide, but I think he just about keep the position there as they're heading towards the infield section. As there's Cooper right now in P2. Quag's is 1.8 seconds ahead of him. McKenzie is 13 seconds back, but he's got a very heavy fuel load, so that is probably why he's so far ahead of him. Cooper's got a fairly heavy one, but obviously not compared to McKenzie, who's now going to be under pressure from Gal and from Mocho, and Gal, who's actually got past Michael Mocho, who will be probably a bit gutted to be missing out on a full-time seat next season. I mean, the sign-ups have been very tightly contested this year. So unfortunately, there's only 22 seats. Unfortunately, sadly, we're going to have to miss out. It's just the way things are. I mean, that's business in a way. As Mocho is actually trying to get back at Nicolas Gal, coming down the front straight, and he will make the move back into P4, back ahead of Gal. So good racing by Michael Mocho, probably showing Forsynia what they could be missing. As he's now right on the back of McKenzie, who's obviously got slow pace due to that heavy fuel load, and he's on the inside, heading towards turn 4. Will he make the move stick? He's on the inside, and he does make it stick. Good racing by Michael Mocho, who's running on the podium. And as I said, he'll be pretty gutted that he won't have a seat for next season. Now veteran Vadrina is getting involved in this battle. He's right behind Gal. It's actually Armour Car is going to be pitting this lap as Gal locks up and goes wide. And does Vadrina make the move stick? And yes, he does. And that's a bad mistake there by Nicolas Gal. And see, coming in, he came into the corner, just locked up there, just went way too wide, just about kept it on the track, but lost a position to Vadrina, as now Armour Car comes in for his first pit stop of the race. Let's see how quick this stop will be for the Force India driver as he comes into his pit box. And in he comes. Let's see how much fuel do they put into his car. 24 laps, so I imagine 10, 20. Well, actually, I think it'll probably be a 3-stop. I'd imagine it will probably be a 3-stop. I don't really see why it wouldn't. As he comes out of out the pits, and he's dropped quite a few positions. He's dropped out the points. And he's going to come out in P15, so it comes up behind Joseph Willows, and it will come out ahead of, just gets out ahead of David Greenwood there, so that will probably help him later on in the race. We'll have to get through a lot of traffic as Quag's just coming up to the first corner, and actually Cooper, I think, actually seems to be closing up on him, as Quag actually is going to be going into the pits at the end of this lap anyway, as he comes down out of turn 3 for the 30th time this race, as he's coming towards turn 4. And so he's running in P1. Cooper definitely has been gaining on him in the last few laps. Definitely wasn't that close before. Got some traffic ahead, but he won't be held up by that. But veteran Vadrina actually is pitting. Is he in? Yeah, he's actually pitting, I should say. And there we go. So he comes into the pits. And let's see how quick the stop will be for the McLaren driver. And in he comes. Out he comes, I should say. 7.6, and excuse me, comes out in P11, so just outside the points. It'll come out, I think, just behind Florian Volker as well. And out he comes of the box, and actually it'll come out actually just ahead of Volker, who's under pressure from his teammate Willows here, who's trying to get on the inside, coming into turn 4. can't quite make it stick there, as we're looking at car coming through in P15, so he's behind, closing up to these two, as Quag now does come in for his first stop of the race. And where is he going to come out on track will be the interesting thing, because obviously Kuba will obviously do the overcut. So let's see. Quag, how quick is this? Top 7.4, comes out in so it drops down to P5. So yeah, I think actually being clear air actually, because Roberto Gamma I imagine is probably quite far behind everyone. So yep, I think he's going to come out in P5, and in clear air is Roman Quag. So that's worked out I think pretty well for him, I have to say. As we're looking at a car who has now closed up onto the back of Joseph Willis, who's trying to get past the car in front of him. I think that is a Sauber, I'm pretty sure this. I think that's probably Rick Yan. He's trying to overtake coming into turn 1, and yep, gets past Yan, goes a little bit wide, but does just about get the move done. As now Car's going to be right behind him as well. Yan really struggling with that very, very, very heavy fuel load as they're coming towards turn 4, and let's see if he can make the move stick, and the answer is no, can't quite make it there. So he's going to have to wait quite a few corners now, because he can't overtake an old Julius Anderson in his last race. I forgot to mention it. I think I mentioned it was his last race as well, but in his last race, sadly, is going to have to retire the car due to an engine failure, not the way that he wanted to end the season. And so that is his race done and dusted on lap 16. Still had quite a few laps to go before he pitted, although the car's still rolling down to Cenares, but now actually it has stopped, fortunately, so he's actually put his foot on the brakes. So now we're looking at a battle for P3. This is Quag, Gal, and McKenzie, as Quag trying to make his way on the inside of Kuba, coming into turn 4. Will he make the move stick? And yes, he does. Will Gal make the move stick as well? Not quite. He's going to be held up by Kuba for a few corners now. But we're going to see what the problem was with Julius Anderson. I couldn't quite tell what it was from his dash. You know, I was about to say that was a problem, but as you know, it was an engine problem, so it was a pure engine failure that caused his retirement. And eventually, I think coming onto the straight is where the engine. No, it actually already had blown up before he even got onto the straight. So it burned up a few corners already. As we're looking at Miklos Gal right behind McKenzie, he tried to get past him as quick as possible because he was trying to close up to Quag ahead of him. On the inside, he's surely got the move done, coming into the center S's, and the answer is yes, he does. He makes the move stick for P4, and now he's going to try and maybe keep up with Roman Quag in front of him. Let's see if he can do that. As we're looking at a battle for 10th place. This is between Alex Southgate in his last race and Joseph Willows for Ferrari as they're coming down towards the first corner. Willows has got the slipstream. He's going to make his way onto the inside, and surely he's got the move done into the corner, and yes he does. Oh, Southgate actually locks up and goes wide there and goes over the curb, and so he's lost a position there and has lost a absolute load of time. Excuse me. As there is the battle behind between, I think that's Carr and Volker. Yes, it is. In the battle for P12, that will be coming up behind him sooner rather than later. Carr there just ahead of Volker. There's Willows closing up to the McLaren of Vidrina in front of him. As we're looking at Quag, who's closing up to the back of Michael Mocho in the Force India, having a great race so far. Although he went a little bit wide there, coming through the center S's, and now Quag could actually make a move stick on the inside of him, coming down the straight, and it's just about side by side between the two, and surely Quag's going to have the move done on Mocho, coming into turn 4, and the answer is yes he does. He makes it up into second place, and now Kuba is the only one in front of him. And the big question is, will Kuba, when he pits, I think he's still got quite a few laps to go until he pits, come out ahead of him? It will depend on Quag's pace and how good Kuba's pace is at the moment. As we look to see Hunter's Castle stranded in the pit lane, looking down the straight, looking at Roberto Gamba right behind Rick Yan in the Sauber. Can't quite make the move stick into the center S's, coming through, and surely is he going to try and make a move onto the back straight, I suppose you could call that. He's right behind him, and surely he's going to make the move stick. Coming into the corner, he's getting alongside him, just about alongside him. Is he going to make it stick? And No, he can't quite make a stick there. He holds it around the outside, does Rick Yan. Mocho running a very good race right now in P3. As we're looking at Joseph Willows overtaking the other McLaren of Veteran Vedrina, the Croat, coming into turn 4. And he makes it stick. It's a good move there by the British driver. Covering positions after the collision with Nella earlier on. As we're looking at Cooper right now, leading from Quag. The gap was about 22 seconds. We couldn't quite see what it was. Now, as we're looking at Carr and Southgate battling for P11, and Carr makes it stick for the 11th place. So they head towards the infield section for the 20th time of asking. As we look at Quag running in second place, I'd just be so interested to see what the gap is to him and Cooper right now. It's about 22 seconds when we last saw it, but I imagine it might still be coming down. I mean, I think right now Quag will probably come out ahead of Cooper if Cooper pits soon, which he will. As we're looking at Franco Gamba right now running in P8. He's got Joseph Willows right behind him, coming onto the front straight with Veteran Vedrina not too far behind either. Will Willows make a move into the first corner? I don't know if he's quite close enough to get the slipstream, and I don't think he is. So he's going to have to wait probably for another few corners. And let's see where he is. So he comes around, gets the slipstream, and now he's surely going to make the move coming into turn 4. He's going to have the slipstream with the Toro Rosso. As we know, the Ferrari is faster than the Toro Rosso, as he's just about getting along the inside of Gamba, and he makes a stick for P8. Good move there. Willows, who'll be pitting in a few laps anyway, actually, so this will be his, I suppose you can see, his first stop. As we look at Southgate running right now in P12 in his final race, there's Jan, there's Kuba who's about to lap them. He's already lapped a few cars anyway. As Michael Mocho now finally does come in for his final stop of the race, and let's see where he comes back out onto the track. He'll certainly come out inside, I think, the top 5. And his pace has been quite good so far, so I imagine he'll be going on a 2-stop or a 3-stop. Excuse me. Wow, 42 laps of fuel. That is that's a lot. That is right near the end of the race that Mocho is going to. That is a wow. That just seems a little bit excessive there from the Force India crew, but we'll see how well Mocho can do with that fuel load, which will probably affect his tyres, I would imagine, as he comes out behind Oliver Glazebrook, who'll be pitting in a couple of laps' time. But that's fair. I mean, I don't know if I've ever seen a crew put in so many laps of fuel there. 42. I mean, well, after a pit stop, I mean. But that is, that's just an insane amount. That is very, very high indeed. So they want to maybe try and gamble him on the second stint. So he comes through the hairpin for the 22nd time, right behind Oliver Glazebrook, who will be pitting a few laps in a couple of laps' time, as I said, coming through the left-hander, coming into the final corner. And surely he'll make the move coming onto the back straight. He'll have the slipstream with Glazebrook, because I think he's just about in the slipstream. So I think he will try and make a move coming into the first corner. Has he got the speed? Yes, he has. He's right behind Glazebrook. Surely he's going to make the move into the first corner, going up to over 320 kilometers an hour on the inside. And that's the move done for Mocho there. Although he does go a little bit wide, goes in a bit deep, but he does just about keep the position as Cameron Anderson is coming into the pits this lap as well. And actually Glazebrook will be pitting this lap as he's actually fighting back against Michael Mocho. He's now on the inside. He's actually going to gain the position back on the British driver. And will he make it stick as Mocho goes actually a bit wide? Mocho is still holding it around the outside. Still side by side. Good racing between the two, but Glazebrook has managed to get it completed again. Mocho won't be too happy with this, but he just needs to get through this very long stint, might I add. Before, well, I mean, Glazebrook is not someone I believe he'll be racing, but said he overtook him, but went very deep into the first corner, which compromised his exit and gave Glazebrook behind a good chance to make the move into the corner, just about side by side between the two. And obviously Glazebrook was on the inside. Mocho desperately tried to hang it around the outside, but it just wasn't quite enough Glazebrook just had the power off the corner, despite Mocho having the fresher tyres, but obviously he's got the heavier fuel load. So Mocho backed off and just decided to let him go through there. As we look at Franco Gamba, who sadly is not going to get anything out of this race now, as he's been stuck in the pits with Hunter, who's already out. So not good news for the Toro Rosso guys today. Not the best way to end the season, but there's not much you can do about that, as Oliver Glazebrook is about to come into the pits at the end of this lap. So let's hope any of the cars, the pit crew that are behind the Toro Rossos, aren't badly held up. Let's hope so anyway. Glazebrook's coming through. He's actually quicker than Mocho, coming through the final onto the front straight there. He's actually quicker than him. Proves how much fuel he's got. I mean, I still think that's just very, very excessive. But he comes into the pits. Glazebrook, he does for the first time, and yes, he's actually got the Toro Rosso right in front of him there. So Glazebrook could be in a bit of a pickle here, as he changes all four tyres. He's got 40 laps of fuel, and oh no, never mind, he's going to bump Franco Gamba out of the way, so never mind about that. So at least he is still going to keep going. Glazebrook probably held up maybe a second or two. I mean, that still could make all the difference, but regardless, he can still go. Meanwhile, the two Toro Rossos are doing whatever they're doing in the pit lane right now. So, but unfortunately for them, they're going to get nothing out of this race. So disappointing for the Toro Rosso team. Is going to have a look at the replay of that again, as Glazebrook just bashes Gamba out of the way. He's lucky he didn't lose actually any debris. Imagine if he'd lost debris bashing the cars out of the way. That would have been probably the most infuriating thing for Gamba, and it probably would have summed up his luck this season, because he's not had little luck, to be fair. I mean, people were surprised he'd got the seat, but not many, I suppose, good drivers, so to speak, actually bothered to apply for that job. So hence why the two Toro Rosso drivers have still got it. Because actually, I didn't realise it actually at first that Hunter has actually not scored any points since getting that 12-pointer in Monaco, which is quite frankly astonishing. Honestly, I don't know how I didn't notice it. That's just baffling how that's just happened, really. Anyway, Kuba, as he comes out the pit, 7.2 seconds off, he'll come out in P2. But as I said, I just can't quite believe that's happened. It just, I mean, Toro Rosso just generally had a very torrid season, really. There's no other way of really putting it, to be honest. But there we are, as we're looking at Willows coming through the first corner. We've got obviously the leader of the race, Kuba, who actually the leader racer Quag, sorry, because actually Kuba did come out. Quag did come out ahead of Kuba. Getting the two mixed up there. As we look at Cameron Anderson, who is battling with Florian Vogel, but they've got the Williams of Quag, who's trying to lap them right now, who's trying to get through all this traffic. They're holding each other up right now, as Quag is going to try and make his way past the cars, as he's going to get past the Ferrari. And now he's probably going to try and make a move on the Caterham if the Caterham does decide to let him through the corner. And he doesn't actually, so Quag has to wait a bit more before he can actually make his move. That will give a chance for Waste to close up, but obviously Waste will still have to get through this traffic as well. Although actually could work to his advantage, because Quag actually is pitting in a few laps' time. So, and by the time he comes out, it'll be a much fresher tyre. I think about the time Kuba will probably close up to that bunch of cars as well. So actually, if Quag does it right, it actually could work in his favour possibly, as Quag trying to get past the. Wait, did it? Oh no, there was a Ferrari that got. Wait, didn't he pass the Caterham? No, he didn't actually. No, he just passed the Ferrari, didn't he? But he'll now get past the Caterham coming onto the straight. They're all lying astern right now. Quag desperately trying to get past him, and he's going to go around the outside of him there. And Willows is going to take advantage and go to the inside and pass Cameron Anderson there. That's just a very unusual move. I don't think I've ever seen any move like that. So wow, that was I said I've never seen any move like that before in the OC. That's quite unusual. As Vulcan gets past, and now Anderson actually is on the inside of Willows, taking advantage of them slowing down to let Quag through. As there's Kuba actually in the background. So look how much he's actually gained on the three cars in front, as they're still battling with each other. So that's hurt Quag quite considerably. But now it's going to hurt. Well, it will hurt Kuba depending on how quick he can get through this traffic. Will be the big thing. Obviously Quag struggled, and now Cooper is going to have to go through the same exact thing as he comes through. He's now got another lap car to pass as well. He's got, I think it was a McLaren now. I think it's of Alex Southgate, I believe. Yes, it is actually a Southgate. As Cooper actually makes his way through the Ferrari very easy there. It's down to 3.3 seconds the gap due to how much he got held up there. Coming through the left-hander when he makes his way as coming to the back straight. I imagine Cooper's actually got past the McLaren. I think he has. As Cooper gets past the Caterham, they're very easy, and that will frustrate Quag as to how hard it was for him to get past the two. As Willis is now going to have the slipstream from the Caterham due to Cooper passing him. As Quag actually pits this lap, actually, as a matter of fact. As Willis trying to make a move on the inside of Cameron Anderson, can't quite do it into the first corner, and they're still battling, and Cooper's still trying to get through these guys. I mean, you wouldn't expect the Ferrari to be battling with a Caterham here, and they're really struggling. The Ferraris, they cannot seem, well, they just keep battling with them, and because the fast guys keep on lapping them. As Willows now tries to make a move on the inside. Oh, there's contact, and Willows is around, and Willows spins, and oh, Anderson, oh my word, Anderson almost takes out a Sauber as he tries to rejoin the track in progress there. That could have been very, very nasty indeed. Willows was getting very impatient behind Anderson there. Made contact, he spun, Anderson went wide, went over the curb, and oh, that is he is so lucky he didn't take out Glazebrook there. Look at that, he controls it and fortunately steers away, and Glazebrook has to turn to avoid him there, but he gains a couple of positions anyway. That was very, very close indeed, as now Amar Khan comes in for a stop for Force India. As he comes in will this be his second and final stop, or will he make one before the end? We shall find out in 3, 2, 1. 20. No, in fact, he will not be going to the end, so he'll be going on a 3-stop strategy. So let's see how well that works out for him as he comes out of the pits. As Volker now in P9. Where's Cameron Anderson? I mean, that battle between the Ferraris and everything was great. As we're looking at Mocho trying to get past the lap car of Franco Lopez right now. As we're looking at Quag, who has made his way past Mackenzie after his stop, and that's 25 laps of fuel. So he will be, he won't be going to the end. He'll be making one more stop. As we look at Carr trying to get past Florian Volker, and he's just about along the inside. And will he make a move stick? And the answer is no, he won't actually. Goes although the Ferrari's gone very wide, and actually he might make the move, and yes, he does. He gets past the Ferrari though. He went wide coming into the centre S's there, and now Volker's got Oliver Glazebrook for company behind him. He's really not making it easy for himself right now, as he's going to try and make it on the inside. Not quite. As Willows trying to make it past Cameron Anderson. He still can't get past him. He really is struggling to get past a Caterham here. Anderson really giving it his all in his final race, as Volker now still battling with Glazebrook, and they've got Amar Khan in front of them. This is great battling in mid-pack, although not good for Ferrari. They're battling with Red Bull in the constructors to get third in the championship. So right now Gal's running in, I think he's running in the points higher than them, so I think it's looking pretty good for Red Bull right now. As we're looking at Carr, Volker, Glazebrook, then there's Anderson and Willows, who Willows still cannot get past him. I don't know why he's struggling so much, but it's severely affecting his race, because he'd be running much higher if he could get past him, but he just simply can't. Anderson, Anderson, I should say, Cameron Anderson, that is, really giving it his all, as Glazebrook is now actually trying to get past Florian Volker into the first corner, and he makes it stick. He gets past him into P10. This is some great racing. Ferrari's really struggling here. Willow's really struggling to get past a Caterham, and Volker just at the moment struggling with a Sauber, although the Sauber's not the slowest car, but certainly not the fastest. As now, we're trying to make a move his car on the inside of Southgate, and can't make it stick there. And wow, that could have gone very, very wrong indeed. Because we're now actually at the halfway point of this race, lap 37. As we're looking at Carr behind Southgate with Glazebrook behind, then Volker, and then there's a bit of a gap to Anderson and Willows as the cars come through the infield section of the track. And let's see, will they try and make a move on the front straight, I should say. And let's see, will he make a move onto the straight. I mean, it's the best opportunity he can, I think, I would say. I mean, he's still got several laps before he pits. Actually, he's got over 20 of them, as a matter of fact. And let's see where he comes. Let's see if he makes a move. Volker's actually right behind Glazebrook, so he's going to try and make a move and overtake him back onto the front straight. And now Volker's getting on the inside of Glazebrook. Is he going to make the move stick coming into the first corner? He's on the inside. And will he make it stick? And yes, he does. He actually makes it before gets into the corner there. As we're looking at Quag running in second, as Willows has finally got past Cameron Anderson. It's taken him, I don't know how many laps, but he has finally made the move stick as Jamie Kenzie comes into the pits for the final time. 37 laps. Yeah, it's his first and only stop, actually, as a matter of fact. I don't know why I'm saying that. Yeah, that's his first and only stop. So that's 37 laps of fuel in. So he'll be going to the end, the one stop. Let's see if it works out for him or not as he comes out of the pit exit. So where's he going to come out on the track? Be interesting to see. He's behind Michael Mocho, but he's still got one more stop left to go. Obviously on his very long stint, might I add. As Carr and Southgate still battling, as Volker now is right behind him, but Glazebrook is still sticking with them, and Willows actually could come into this big gaggle, this big fight at the moment, which is occurring. This is right now very good. I mean, actually, it's been quite weird. Even though Brazil is a good track for overtaking, the last few finales here have been quite boring. But this is certainly the opposite of that, as now Carr is on the inside of Southgate into the first corner, and he does make it stick for P8. And now Volker could have a chance to get past Southgate coming onto the back straight. Has he got the slipstream? I think he will. And Southgate is probably going to have to defend. And yet Volker is right behind him. Will Southgate defend at all? No, he doesn't really. So Volker might have an easy move compared to before. And he's on the inside. And yep, he makes it stick. Southgate actually will be pitting in a few laps' time anyway. As Quag is actually now coming up to this huge gaggle of cars in front of him. So it's a deja vu moment again for the French driver. He's going to get through. He'll have to get through five cars in quick succession if he wants to win this race. But it's certainly not going to be easy, as they're all continuously battling here. And Southgate is not letting Florian Volker go at this moment in time. Volker goes a little bit wide, coming through the corner there, but I think Glazebrook's going to probably try and make a move on the straight on Southgate, I'd imagine, unless Southgate can get the slipstream of Volker. But he's under pressure from Willows, and now Quag is right behind Willows as well, and about to lap these guys. So here they come onto the straight. Will they let Quag through? I don't know. Quag is right there. Willows making a move on the inside, down the front straight. Will he make it the move stick before the corner? It's side by side between the two. Willows on the inside. Can he make it stick? No, he can't. He really struggled to overtake today. Quag's right behind these guys as they're coming through the corner, and so Quag is still stuck behind Glazebrook, but he's going to try and make a move onto the back straight now. He's going to get past Glazebrook. He's on the inside, and now he's going to go after Willows. So, but now actually Roberto Gamba, I think he's actually just come out of the pits, is going to get involved in this. Sasaki is actually going to pit this lap, as a matter of fact. So Roberto Gamba is right behind Glazebrook. He's really got himself in the thick of things as Roberto Gamba. Coming out the pits, David Greenwood is pitted as well. Sasaki pitting this lap. Vidrina pits this lap for McLaren as David Greenwood comes out of the pits. It's all happening right now. It really is all happening. It's definitely one of the most action-packed Brazilian Grand Prix we've had in recent years. As I was saying earlier, the last two or three, certainly I think the last two, have been quite dull. And just not very exciting, well, at all, really. I mean, that's the only way of really putting it, to be honest. As Vidrina comes out of the pits, a 5.9 second stop, that's pretty quick. Will he come out ahead of Amar Khan, actually, for Force India? And I think it's going to be quite close. He's coming out of the very long pit exit. And where is he going to come out onto the track? Is he going to come out ahead of Carr? The answer is, I believe he is, as we're looking at Joseph Willows running in P9 right now, behind Quag, and got some traffic ahead of him. As now Roberto Gamba getting on the inside of Oliver Glazebrook. Gamba will have one more stop left to go, but he's on the fresher tyres, crucially, as he gets past the Sauber there. But Gamba's actually, look how much he's got away there, and look how much he's closed on the Red Bull of, I think that's Gal in front of him, just in that one corner alone. That is insane. As we're looking at the Mercedes of Jay McKenzie, who's right behind the the Force India, I should say, of Michael Mocho, and he's on the inside, and he makes it stick. Mocho going very wide, but he does just about keep it on the track, although he gets a poor run through the corner there, so he's lost a considerable amount of time, but McKenzie makes it through. Obviously, Mocho will be pitting before the end, so that is still for position, because McKenzie will not be pitting before the end. As there's Franco Lopez running, still did last. I don't know why he's struggling so much, as now the Red Bull of Gal getting through all this traffic gets past Willows. Volker actually ahead of him is going to be pitting this lap, but now Willows has got Roberto Gamma behind him for company. It's all action here in the mid-pack. Everything is happening, as Volker will be pitting this lap, I imagine, for the final time. I don't imagine he'd do another stop after this before the end, as Volker now comes in. As now Roberto Gamma is already on the inside of Willows, coming into the first corner, and he's got past him. Great move there by the Italian driver, the cousin of Roberto Gamma, the cousin of Franco Gamma, I should say, who is impressed a lot this season, I have to say. He is really impressed at Marussia, hence why he's staying in the series next season. As we're looking at Florian Volker coming out of the pits, and 32 laps, yep, he will be going to the end of the race. And where's he come out on track? Comes out in P14, so he's got a few cars in front of him. As now Rick Yan comes in for his, I think, first and only stop, because he was on a very long stint actually. So 45. I'm pretty sure this is his only stop, because I'm pretty sure he had a lot of fuel in the car. So that's a insane amount of fuel. Unless something was done up, and I'm pretty sure Rick Yan was one who had the whole bunch of fuel. As he gets held up there a bit by the Toro Rossos there, but I don't know if Rick Yan's going to be able to get any points out of this race, because he's just struggled really on this strategy. It's not worked out very well for him at all, and he comes out of the pits just about in last as Quag. He's coming around. Obviously, we'll have one more stop before the end of this race. Gal behind him, I couldn't remember if he needs to have another stop or not. I thought he did, but I could be wrong. As Carr is actually now on the inside and actually trying to unlap himself here, trying to pass the Williams of Quag, and he might just about be doing that. And will he make the move stick on Quag? The answer is yeah, I think he will. He's actually helping Gal here. Still side by side between the two. This isn't the position, but Quag is clearly struggling on these tyres, and well, as you know, he keeps the position, does Quag. But Carr obviously on clearly the faster car than him. As now Volker, after his pit stop, battling with Alex Southgate on the inside, and he makes it stick for P12. A good move there from the German driver. As we're looking at McKenzie running in P4 right now, Mocho running in P5. As Roberto Gamma goes wide and does just about control it. He had the Red Bull of Miklas Gal right behind him, who was pressuring him to let him pass. So I guess that's quite an easy way of letting him through. I mean, maybe it was tactical, who knows? But he gets through anyway, does Gal. Makes it up, makes it past a lap car there. Here's a bit of an error there from Gamma, just went a little bit wide. And we're looking at Miklas Gal, who now comes into the pits for the final time. And let's see where he comes out onto the track. And the question is he going to be in traffic? Because obviously he's battling with Roman Quag for I think the final podium spot, I would think. But he comes out of the pits. Joseph Willard's coming in for his final stop of the race, and see where he comes back out onto the track. Obviously Michael Mocho will be will be doing one more stop before the end as well. And let's see, and Volker's, oh no, here we go again. Volker trying to get past his beloved green cars. I mean, if you haven't seen the chat, then you'll know that Volker always likes battling with green cars. It's his favourite part of the OC. But as Kuba is actually about to lap all these cars, he's got one more stop before the end, but I think he's going to have a very comfortable victory as Kuba. As we look at Glazebrook, who's coming through the first corner. Quag coming out of the pits. He'll come out ahead. He'll come out, behind Miklas Gal, who is passing Jim McKenzie on track. And actually, this is for position because Gal is going to the end. So this is a legit battle here for position. So that's a battle for E2. So Quag's got his work cut out if he wants to get a podium. But I suppose he could still closer to Mackenzie because he's got the fresher tyres, and Mackenzie probably is going to struggle quite badly towards the end of the race on the tyres, as well as is right behind Volker, who's they're behind the Cameron Anderson. They'll be probably so glad they'll be rid of him by the end of the race, because he's been scuffering, especially he's been scuffering Willis' race particularly, and now he scuppered Willis' race quite badly, and now he's going to do the same thing to Volker as well. As they're still battling, as the Mercedes there, Cooper trying desperately to get past Willis, who's not making it too easy for him, but he eventually does get past. But now he's going to have Southgate behind him for company as well, so it's not worked out particularly in his favour as they're coming through the final corner. And actually Willis is going to have the slipstream of Cooper, but Cooper will actually be pitting this lap anyway. He peels off to the left and he'll be going into the pits as they come through, and there goes Cooper in for his final stop of the race. Mocho coming around, he'll be pitting one more time before the end as well. As we look at, I think, there's Forsythe coming out of the pits. That's Armar Carr actually, who's coming out of the pits for his final stop. So I don't think the 3 stop has particularly worked out well for Carr, to be honest, because now he's got all these cars he's have to battle with. Is he going to come out ahead of Southgate? And the answer is yes, he does. Although Southgate's trying to make a move on the inside, as Volker has actually at last got past Anderson, and Willows couldn't quite do the same thing, as in the background Carl was just about defending from Southgate's position, and he has kept it, so that's important for him if he wants to get any points out of this race, as Cooper comes out still comfortably in the lead of this Brazilian Grand Prix, as Volker can't get past this Willows still can't get past the Caterham right now, although actually he'll be pitting this lap, so thank God for that. I think Willows, I imagine, will be thinking under his helmet, and he comes around the final corner, they're right behind, but now Armar Carr is on much fresher tyres than the Willows, so he's probably just going to breeze past him, I'd imagine, pretty soon, as they're coming down front straight, and they can't quite make it stick there because of Anderson coming into the pits there, but he's still got the slipstream off him, so Carr's still going to make the move into the first corner. Does Willis defend? He does move over, but it's not enough, and Carr makes the move stick just about, for P10 coming through the first few corners. And let's see where he comes, although actually Willis actually is going to get him back actually, and Willis is on the inside of Carr. He's not giving it up just yet, and is he going to make the move stick? And the answer is no. Carr is going to hold it around the outside on fresher tyres with better grip, so he holds the position there. As we look at Quag, who's now right behind Mackenzie already, so this is a legit battle for position. So Mackenzie's having that one stop not working out particularly well for him, and Quag is now right behind him, looking to get past him to get the final podium spot. Quag, obviously, or now because of Nell's retirement, will have secured second place in the championship, so runner-up behind the championship winner Jay Mackenzie. As now Quag is now on the inside of Mackenzie coming down the front straight, and surely I think he's got the move done, and yep, he's got the move completed. He's up into the last podium spot, so I don't think Mackenzie ain't going to be able to recover and attack him back. So as now Oliver Glazebrook comes in for his final stop. I couldn't remember if there was anyone else. I couldn't remember if there was anyone else who needed to pit once more before the end of this race, but there was still a couple. So Glazebrook pits. I don't know if he'll finish inside the points or not, but it's quite late one, although it might be held up by that Toro Rosso though. Would he have enough of a gap to get through? I think it could be close. And does get held up a bit. Always been held up for a little bit there as Glazebrook, but he does eventually just about squeeze past, but that might have eliminated any chance that he had of getting any points out of this race due to being held up there, as he's now actually behind Cameron Anderson, who's been holding up everyone in this race. So that's not particularly worked out very well for Glazebrook there. There's a battle for P8 going on. Volker, Carr and Willows battling, but Carr's got the fresher tyres over this lot, over both the two drivers, so it could be very interesting to see who comes out on top. But Carr is right behind Volker. He tries to even make a move to the final corner, but you don't see very many people making a move there, as they're coming now down the front straight, and surely Carr's going to make a move into the first corner. He's got much fresher tyres than both of these drivers. He's just about on the inside, and Willows is now right behind Volker as well, but Carr is on the inside of Volker, coming into the first turn, and he does make the move stick, and now Willows is going to try the move stick, and he does. He actually goes past Volker there and takes place off of him there, so good racing there between the two, as we've just got 8 laps to go this final race of the season. Right now, excuse me, Waze Kuba is clear at the front of the field, although Carr still can't quite get past Willows yet. Well, actually, hang on a minute. Willows has actually got past Carr. What am I saying? So Carr, who went way wide coming into the first corner, and he makes the move stick for P8 there. Looking at the battle between the two Saubers, this is between Oliver Glazebrook and Rick Jan. So Glazebrook, that stopped really affecting him, and Jan, who's had a pretty bad race himself anyway. Glazebrook on the inside and makes the move stick for P14. He's got Cameron Anderson in front of him, and he's got, I think it's David Greenwood, I think, in front of him as well. Yeah, De Ross is retired, although actually Glazebrook goes past Anderson very easy, although Anderson's got a problem, so that is why he's got past him so easy. So in his final race for Anderson, sadly, in a season that's been blighted by them, he has a mechanical failure. The question is, will he be able to get to the pits in time? I mean, he might as well just retire the car really, because he's not going to be able to gain any more positions out of it before the end. But and it's an electrical problem that is causing this for Cameron Anderson, but as I said, he might as well just retire the car, but obviously can't do that well unless the engine goes before he gets to the pits, which is possible. He's about to come towards the pits, so let's find out. Just look at the order. Roberto Gamba's gained 8 positions. He has had a fantastic race for Marussia as Anderson comes into the pits, and obviously they will repair his car for, I suppose they'll want to probably finish the race in a way, come to think of it, as that's his final excuse me, race of the season, as he comes into the pits, and the crew will change his tyres and repair the car. So there we go. So it's a shame for Anderson really, but at least he'll get to the finish. So the question is, will he actually how quick will the car be? I imagine the car will be very quick on fresh tyres, but anyway, let's see. We've just got 3 laps to go of this Grand Prix. Mackenzie's actually about to lap him as well. We're looking at Willows, who's actually got past the Marussia there of Roberto Gamba, coming down the front straight. So Willows has actually got a sudden upturn in pace at the end of this race, and he makes it along the inside and makes it past him. So there we are. So anyway, we're here on the final lap of the Grand Prix, as Waze Cooper is the driver who's leading this race. It's not been a particularly great season for him. Obviously, this will be his last race, of course, as he will not have a seat, as he got pipped to the Mercedes seat next season for Will Neller. So, I mean, it'll be pretty gutted for that, but I mean, this is, I think, is going to be a nice way, I think, to sign off for him, as he's coming around, about to lap the Caterham there of Cameron Anderson. He's actually about to lap his teammate, though. They're going to come across the finish line together, which I think will be quite fitting, as they're coming down the final, coming out the final corner now, heading towards the final straight. Mercedes, won't be Mercedes 1 and 2. Mackenzie will come in P4, but as they're coming across the line together, as Cooper passes Mackenzie, Waze Cooper takes his final victory in the OC here in Brazil. Congratulations to him. Mackenzie comes across the line in P4. Carl comes across the line in P9. Roberto Gamba in P8. And Florian Volker set to take the last point spot in P10. Not been Ferrari's race, sadly. It's been affected by getting stuck in loads of traffic in the in the midfield, as we look at Franco Lopez coming across the line. Here comes Michael Mocho, who's about to come across the line at 4 Force India. Alex Southgate comes across the line. So Mocho in his who in his final race, well, obviously he'll be probably returning soon anyway. Mocho in P5, Vadrina in P6, Gal takes P2, that's a good race from him. Oliver Glazebrook in P12, Roman Quad comes across the line in P3, who else gone across the line? Glazebrook Greenwood P13, Rick Yan P14, and the last driver to come across the line will be Joseph Wills to complete all of the finishes here at this Brazilian Grand Prix. So there we are. So he's set to come across coming down past the grandstands and across the line. And there it is, race over, and that is the season over in the OC. So that's quite a shame. But here is the final classifications here in Brazil. Wayscooper winning with Miklos Guy in the second, Ruben Quag third, Jay McKenzie fourth, Michael Mocho fifth, Veteran Vidrina sixth, Joseph Wheeler seventh, Roberto Gamba eighth, Armar Khan ninth, and Florian Volker 10th. That's actually in 11th, the fastest lap being set by Wayscooper, a 1:12.6. The rest of the finishing order being Oliver Glacier 12th, David Green 13th, Rick Yan 14th, Cameron Anderson 15th, and Franco Libis 15th, with Franco Gamba, Julius Anderson, Robert Ionescu, Robert Hunter, Kirosa Medeirosa, and Will Nella the retirements from this race. So now we're going to take a look at the final drivers and constructors standings. So Mackenzie was the drivers' champion with 297 points, Roman Quark second with 215, Will Nella in third, Wayscooper in fourth, Miklos Guy moves up ahead of the Ferraris in fifth, Joseph Wheeler 6th, Florian Volker 7th, Robbie Ionescu 8th, Veteran moves up to 9th for McLaren, ahead of his teammate Southgate just pips him, who's just 1 point ahead of Armar Carr in 11th as well. Ricky Harkzane still finishes a respectable 12th, Roberto Gamba moves up to 13th, Julius Anderson down to 14th, Rick Yan 15th, Albert Glacier 16th, Frank Lever 17th, Michael Watcher with his impressive 5th place moves up to 18th, David Good 19th, Robert Hunter 20th, Kirosa Medeirosa 21st, Franco Gamba 22nd, and the final driver in 23rd is Cameron Anderson, who scored just 5 points. And now we're going to take a look at the final constructors' standings of the season. So Mercedes won ahead of Williams in second, Red Bull move ahead on Ferrari despite having the same amount of points on countback, McLaren in 5th, Force India in 6th, Marussia move ahead of Sauber by just 1 point in 8th position, Caterham in 9th, Lotus in 10th I should say, and Toro Rosso in 11th position. So there we are, that has been the 2014 season. There are all your winners on the screen. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks very much to Yuri for hosting another great season. Thanks to Joe for the news and making the highlights. Thanks to everyone who's entered. Thank you very much, everyone. It's been another fantastic season. Obviously, this will be the last race for Yuri, so thank you, Yuri. We'll see you in 2017, I think it is. Thanks for watching, everyone. I have been George Wright, your commentator for 2014, and until 2015, we will see you there.
So long, farewell, but not goodbye. I know we'll meet again. 'Cause I've seen in your eyes the spark that lights the dreams of rocket man. And you still chase that light that takes you to a place you'll always know, takes you home. And I don't know if I will make it. All I know is that the sun keeps on shining when you're gone. So I ride the wind that takes me to that time when we were young, and you were always number one. And they say it's too late to write your name in lights across the sky.